Hello. Welcome to the daily political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, we've got a lot to cover today. Some of it's going to be kind of dark, I'm afraid. But anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day to all and to everyone. So I am here 365 days of the year to read on 12 political questions every day. I just do political readings. I don't do personal readings. And I take your questions out of the chat before I start. So if you'd like a question answered, just put it in the chat before I go on between like 11 and 12. And then I can pull the questions out of the chat. And then during the live stream, if you could please, anything in the live stream, in the chat while we're live, that's in all caps, that's how you talk to me. And other than that, please type normally, because people have whole conversations. They're really supportive of each other. We also have epic troll slayers. Thank you for keeping us safe and making this possible. This really is a great community because of you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, 10% of my income from everything Black and Orange goes to Feeding America at feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country, and that is an ongoing thing. And hello, everybody. So I've been trying to start with something funny or, some multimedia or what have you, but today I'm afraid we're just starting with something that's kind of upsetting. And for this first question, there might be a bit of a trigger warning, but just for the first question, if you're watching this on replay, hello, you can go down in the description box. All the questions are time-stamped, and then you can just pick and choose what you're interested in. Skip anything that you don't want to go there. But every day, everything's time-stamped, so you can pick and choose. All right, but I'm afraid everybody who's here live, we're going to be starting with Idaho. Yeah, we're starting with Idaho. So anyway, oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys like the nails. Sarah got these for me for Christmas. So the thumb looks like that. But yeah, Sarah got these for me for Christmas. And I thought it would go well with the blue and the green up here. So the blue, a little bit of blue and green down here. So. Oh boy, Teresa Ford, what about HIPAA laws? Oh well. And Darren, N7, 1988 is now Darren. Okay, Darren, awesome. Okay. We're going to look at the Russian planes today. We'll get there. But at 3:30, we're going to jump into the dark end. It's not even the deep end. It's just dark. All right. And then we're going to come back out to, nicer things. The U.S. is sending billions of $800 billion to Ukraine. Will this help? Then we're asking about the Russian government jets. Various other things. Not seeing any of them are particularly happy, but we do political stuff around here, and some days it's particularly dark, and that's today. I might finish by showing you something I'm starting, which is a graphic. I'm starting a blog where and I'm starting with the astrology charts of a lot of politicians and people who are big in the news, and especially with the politicians, kind of showing the negative sides of the different signs in how help explain what's making some of these people tick. And the first one I made was about Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. See, even my brain's like, oh, I don't want to think about Ted Cruz. I don't want to think about Tom Cruise either, but yeah. So I'll do that. I'll do that later. So, and you'll see kind of what I'm going for. Anyway, make this 5:30. Well, make this 5:15. All right. If Roe versus Wade discussions are understandably upsetting to you, you might want to step away for about 10-15 minutes and then come back. Okay. Or watch this on replay and you can skip ahead. Okay. So calm down. Calm down. Breathe. Breathe. Idaho has a new anti-abortion law that allows the father, siblings, grandparents, aunts, and uncles of a preborn child to veto an abortion. The law applies not just to minors, but to any adult seeking the procedure. Also, I think there's a better, I saved a better way to explain why this is what they're doing differently from other states, because it's bad enough. But breathe. Breathe. Okay. I'm going to be using a couple of trigger words here, including the R word. Please, again, just trigger warnings, letting you know. The Idaho law has an exception for rape, but only if the victim files a police report. The exception is cold comfort, given that few victims of sexual assault report the crime to police, in part because filing a report could result in further abuse, especially for victims of intimate partner violence. If a victim terminates her pregnancy without filing a police report, the rapist's family members can all sue and collect separately. The bill's sponsor, Republican State Representative Stephen Harris, has confirmed that if a rapist has 10 siblings, each can sue for $20,000. The bill therefore makes it incredibly easy for a sexual assailant's family to further victimize the women by profiting from her pregnancy. Governor Brad Little has indicated he will sign the bill soon. Once he does, Idaho's 5 abortion facilities may well close their doors, since the threat of ruinous lawsuits could render their work untenable. And that, of course, is the end goal. Knowing that the Supreme Court has permitted the end run around Roe and Casey by allowing these things, it's not, enforcement isn't by the government. The Supreme Court has said, oh, sure, vigilantes, why not? Idaho goes one further in assuring that pregnant victims of intimate partner violence will be subject to the whims of their abusers. Tennessee Republicans are rapidly advancing something similar, copycat bills at the moment. And others. So, Idaho. So we're just having a look at this whole Idaho bill. So basically, a rapist, actually even a serial rapist, their families could, they and their families could make lots of money if the person's victims don't file a police report and try to end their pregnancies. We are rewarding rapists now in this country. I am beyond livid. Is this going to stand? Pluto going through Capricorn, the sign of the patriarchy. And Pluto is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, so it's making sure it gets all the real gunk and yes, and you can't have surgery for ectopic pregnancies. Yes. Yeah. That too. Page of Cups. Okay. Page of Cups. Judgment. Three of Cups. Death. Knight of Wands. Lovers. It's going to stand for a while. It's going to stand for a while. This is everything from their perspective. This is the clump of cells that isn't a person being carried by someone who is a person. But sure, that's what they see. So they're going to pass judgment that, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that there was someone in Congress who said that a woman cannot become pregnant unless she enjoys it. The ignorance is staggering. But judgment over these loose women with their loose morals. And they're going to fight for family and the patriarchy and marriage between a man and a woman. And if it's abusive, oh well. And if it's going to kill the wife and the marriage, well, that's just God's will. It's going to stand for a while. So how are these heinous, unconscionable, disgusting bills in various states, how are they going to end? 1330. When will this madness end? And part of the original question is, why does the GOP hate women? Because they're patriarchal. Women are inferior. That is the point of the patriarchy. So how will this madness end? Because I can pretty much guarantee you, just astrologically speaking, that we're not going to be in the age of Aquarius with Pluto in Aquarius, and that to go on, and think that this kind of stuff is going to stand. No. Isabel Moss, that's the way to do it. Over here in the Netherlands, the abortion rate is one of the lowest on the planet. Abortion is legal, sexual education is good, and access to birth control is easy. And that is how it should be done. Knowledge is power. How will this unconscionable and cruel insanity end? I'm trying to hold it together, doing my best. Women's rights, Queen of Cups, women's rights, women's reproductive rights, women's rights to live. Our bodies. Knight of Cups, Sun, Empress, women's rights, power of women, and our male allies. This is just the rise of democratic power. Younger people, rise of democratic power in general. This is, I will have children or not when I decide, when it is best for the children, when it is best for me, when it is best for the rest of my family. And if I am attacked, there's no way I'm going to reward an attacker. Yeah, Linda Johnson, ectopic pregnancy is a death sentence for women if it's not addressed by surgery. Exactly. Linda McMurtry is saying, as if women all over the world don't have it bad enough, I am burning with anger. I'm with you. I'm with you. But it will not stand. This is far right communication. Maybe other backwards places in the world somewhere would listen to this crap. But it's not going to stand long term, but it's going to stand for a while. And I've been warning you guys, the Supreme Court ruling is going to come down somewhere between now and the end of they tend to announce the verdicts on their cases, the rulings on their cases, mostly in May and June, especially June. Do not expect the Supreme Court to side with women on this, because the majority, I'm not getting anything good. And it is these attacks on women which are going to drive voters to vote this November. So people are aware that the Republicans are against women's rights. They don't care if women die. And then the January 6th stuff is going to come out, and we'll see all the Republicans who try to destroy democracy. And then you think you're going to do well in the midterms, huh? Geek Hillbilly says that proposed law violates the 14th Amendment and should be struck down quickly. Well, you'd think. Any more information about when this garbage will end? There's something in my cards. I don't know what. We're just teasing us with that big cover. Oh, that's a whole thing. Yes, your messaging. Page of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. Oh, this is Republicans. They are just showing their rear ends. They really are. They're going so far to the right that the American people, on just like Democrats going, you know what? I think we should go back to having Democrats in charge. Yeah. Jeanette Carpenter says the only good thing is that Idaho is in the 9th Circuit Federal Court of Appeals and not exactly conservatives. Well, let's hope. Have hope. It's the card of hope. Have hope. They're not listening to reason now, but they will be on the defensive. I'm getting this too shall pass. Not as in pass the law, but pass as in it won't stay this way. But if you go just based on the laws, 2022 is not going to be a good year in the history books for women's rights. We're going to have to fight to get them back. Fight, call representatives, send letters, speak out. Yeah. Jim Dave says, I don't trust the Supreme Court. Right now, you can't. Trust them with what? All right. But we're going to get through it. Did they dye the river green again in Chicago v? That's so stupid and hard. Why? Why dye the river green? It's not good for the environment. I wish they wouldn't do that. Teresa Ford says despair can't win unless hope gives up. No, we're not giving up hope. It's not going to stand long term. It's just not. But in the short term, it is going to do damage. And these people, it is unconscionable what they're doing. Marby is saying they're showing their true colors just for power. Exactly. Jane Weininger says it's only food coloring and people need to have their spirits lifted today. I'm not a fan. That's okay. I mean, I don't have to be. I don't think they should do that. I like Chicago as it is. I think downtown's beautiful. They should they're beautiful buildings to look at. There's the Art Institute. There's the big kidney bean. The big mirrored kidney bean. There's cool stuff there. So, anyway. Anthony, yes, vote. All right, we're going to move on to other topics. We're going to get through this. Hold on to hope, all right? That's what's important. All right, so 24 minutes in. All right. Okay. KB says, why is this terrible Idaho law not all over the media? Maybe they're waiting for that jerk to sign it. I don't know. All right, 24:30. Let's move on to the U.S. sent $800 billion more in supplies to aid Ukraine. Will this help turn the tide? $800 billion, that's a chunk. Gary Foster, I agree. Good will prevail. Yes. Yes, I know it can seem really, really dark. And it is at times really dark, but hope. Hold on to hope. Things will get better, and there are good days ahead. There are. So let's look at, will the $800 billion more in supplies and aid to Ukraine, the U.S. assent, will it upturn the tide in Ukraine's favor? Definitely helping. Definitely helping. And there's more. They're helping in ways we don't know. This is the card for the reading. You know, wussy Democrats. There's stuff they're doing that we don't know that is really helpful. Good. That card, it was like, it felt like there was one hidden, really well hidden. Ten of Pentacles, Four of Swords, Two of Wands, King of Swords, Seven of Wands. Will it help? Yes. This is the help with the stuff they're getting, putting Putin's forces on the defensive. Putin really did think he'd just go in there and he'd just go nice country. I think I'll take it. And Putin's also warning other countries to not help Ukraine. But this looks like it's going to help. Ooh, Mel Broussard made some homemade bread. Oh, I am so in. I love bread. Sheila R says, I thought it was 800 million. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. The question I got said billion, but if it's million or billion, the point is it's probably million. I was thinking that sounded really high, but whatever they're sending will help, and that's really what I was asking. Yes, Sandy Miller is potato. 800 million? All right, I'll change the question. I was thinking in my head that it was probably million, but that's really what I was, just the 800 chunks of money. That's what I was, when I was asking the question. I was thinking in my head, 800 chunks of money, big chunks of money. Oh, yoy. Okay. So moving on to 2830. Desert Dawn had a question. 2830. A convoy of Russian government jets tasked with transporting Russian government officials took off from Moscow. There were like 10 of them, apparently, is what I heard. Stopped at several locations, then headed back to Moscow. Now, the question was, are top officials abandoning Russia? I don't think that's that. Oh, Geek Hillbilly, is it 800 billion? I don't know. So what was going on with what was going on? If anything, it may have just been, you know, sending loyal government officials out to the provinces there, farther areas farther out from Moscow. I don't know. So what was going on? 800 billion for sure, says Geek Hillbilly. Okay, billion it is. I take your word for it. All right. But right now we're looking at the convoy to have 10 Russian government jets. It sounds like a word problem, you know? Okay, so if 10 Russian government jets all leave Moscow at the same time, how long... or did it have some other purpose? Is it just to help with a crackdown? $10 planes. That's something. 10 planes all at once. It is million. Nine of Cups. It's the merchant. I sometimes get this card for the oligarchs because they took over such major industries, which is how they made their money. But we'll see. It is million. Okay. Two of Pentacles. It is million. Okay, good. Two of Pentacles, Chariot. Queen of Swords. This is military. Hanged Man. Page of Cups. It's getting it is sending loyal people out. It's partial crackdown, but it's more, it actually feels more like trying to get people into the military. Conscripts, or I don't know. So, but this, they're having trouble. The Russian, you can only have military forces in place for a few weeks before they're just exhausted, and you need to rotate them out from the front lines and whatnot. I think there's one foreign intelligence agency saying that they're seeing some movement to do that, but most others right now are saying they're not seeing the kind of movement that would be necessary to, really get fresh forces in there. Yes, Lisa Bennett. Let's just say lots of money. Yes. Thank you, Judith. So they're having problems. I've also heard that, do you remember how they said there was only a small fraction of the forces around Ukraine, Russian forces around Ukraine were actually in the country? Well, I've heard now it's up to like 82% of the force of the Russian forces around that were around Ukraine are now inside Ukraine. So they're okay. Yeah, they're shooting at civilian targets, which is unconscionable. But they're not getting. It's a mess. It's not going well for them. It's not going well for the Russians at all, surprisingly. And once again, as Andre at Astrology Alert, the great Andre said, if Putin had just talked to an astrologer, back in 2014 when he stole Crimea, the energy was in his favor and he got away with it. This time, energy was not in his favor. Don't do it. Don't extend yourself. Don't overextend. Don't do something like this. And he did anyway. And it was right there in the astrology. Don't do this. And certainly don't do it. Just don't do it. Well, don't do it, period. But don't do it now. Didn't listen. Alexandra Bellino is saying the Ukrainians are showing us that sticks and stones can't work. Yeah. But it's something about getting new soldiers. It's something about the war effort, soldiers, but the young people, they don't want anything to do with it. That's what it feels like. Those are the cards that are saying that's what I've got there, for what it's worth. A quick look. Purple Sky, Russian aggression is stalling. Frida Smet just said, I heard a Ukrainian woman, an older Ukrainian woman, wanted to help an abandoned pet dog. She caught it, and the vet said it was a wolf. Because Ukrainians are hardcore. Yeah. The pet dog, yeah, it's a wolf. That says your culture is hardcore when you can't really tell the difference. What the foliage living? What, doesn't Putin talk to mediums? I don't believe so, no. So, wow. I like that story. We needed that story. So at 36:15, when Ukrainians see the unabated destruction of their country, what is their true mindset toward NATO and the US, seemingly unwilling to step in to stop it? Oh, there are bounties, or rather, there are incentives for Russians to defect. Or to, what's the word I'm looking? Yeah, defect. Desert, defect. And if they bring a helicopter, they get $500,000. If they bring a fighter jet, they get $1 million. That's what I read. So, but how do Ukrainians feel about NATO in the West? They are a new democracy. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords, Temperance. This is all very new. This has only been going on for 3 weeks. Believe it or not, it feels like they're kind of overall, I'm sure there are many, many exceptions, but the energy overall is we didn't get into NATO soon enough. We didn't get into the EU. We didn't demand our democracy back soon enough. We had this new democracy, and Russia has moved against us. And we're certainly fighters. We really want the West, who have the big guns, the big weapons, to help us, but they're being very temperate. At the same time, we are sending a lot of stuff to them under the radar. A lot of stuff to them under the radar. So it doesn't actually feel like they're as angry with us as one might expect. But it's still terrifying. Man. So 40 minutes in, let's see what we've got next. Darren had a question. Will Putin leave office via assassination or by being forced out? Being forced out or being forced out of his mortal coil? Electrostorm says they are angry at Putin, not the world. That's what it seems like. Joanne says, what can we do to help? Call your representatives. Write to your representatives. Oh, Rosa, thank you. Thank you. There are good charities out there helping Ukrainians. I don't have a list myself, but I only do political readings. I'm afraid I don't do any personal readings. Sorry. So, 41. Will Putin leave office? Will Putin be forced out of office or forced out of his mortal coil? Will Putin be pushed out of office? Pushed out of his mortal coil? Joanne says, I keep writing and to the president. I've given to charities. That's really all you can do, I'm afraid. Les Crowley is saying Amazon has a Ukraine Save the Children link. Okay. Chaos. All right. So that's perhaps an uprising. I don't know. Let's have a look. 8 of Cups. 7 of Swords. 7 of Wands. 8 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. These are all minor arcana. This isn't. This is major arcana. It's kind of chaos. Would Russia actually be forced to hold an election where Putin couldn't decide the outcome ahead of time? I mean, these aren't cards of voting. They're cards of money. People are working, but there's no reward for it. Their economy is cratering. Pain and chaos. Try to get a sense of the energy. All right, Putin. Is Putin just going to remain president until he dies peacefully in his, on his bed of nails to show his manhood? Old and gray Putin. No, I don't get that. Will he be voted out? Will Putin be voted out? Strength. Will a mob remove him from office? No. They can't get near him. Will Putin have some kind of karmic glow-in-the-dark tea? Will someone take him out? Will someone assassinate him? That's a possibility. It's so hard to get to him, though. There's a huge brain drain going on in Russia. And he's not doing well with the war. So I've got some possibilities, but which we all have exit ramps that at certain times in our lives. You would think that the end of Putin would be a big fated thing, but I'm not getting clear energy on it. We pretty much know what's going to happen when he pops out of his human vessel. Page of Pentacles, Judgment, Hierophant. There's some kind of judgment about the government. Which makes me just wonder if does he retire? Well, that'd make us happy. Is Putin just going to retire? Okay, I'm done. I'm just going to go live in my $1 billion house. No. No. Nope. 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 He will never give up power willingly. That's all I'm getting. I wish I was getting something clearer. Marie Wells says hard to read on a demon. His energy is awfully low. Maybe that's the problem. Burden is much, much lower vibrational energy. Maybe that would help. Chaos. Putin. Belligerent fighting. He doesn't give up. He won't give up willingly. That again. Temperance. I'm not getting a clear answer. I wish I was, but oh well. Rosa Sartori, I guess you're trying to get money back that you could cancel. It's usually on your credit card or something like that. You could just cancel it on your credit card. Just call your bank or talk to your bank or go. You can reverse stuff usually. If you paid through PayPal, you can go cancel it, reverse it. My understanding. I'm not here to rob anybody. I don't offer personal readings. There's nothing here that says that I do. There's nothing like that here. So, all right. 49. Daring and creative ambushes against Russian forces by Ukraine are slowly bringing Russia to a standstill in its invasion efforts. Yes. Will Russia gain help from other countries to move them forward again? Oh, will Russia gain help from other countries to move them forward? Okay, cards, hold please. Okay. Yeah, GMD, Putin will never resign voluntarily. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Will Russia get help from other countries to help it move forward? Thank you, Judith. Leo Bachman says Belarus is helping Russia for sure. Yes, but I think we're thinking more like China or whomever else. I don't know. Rochelle McDonald is saying Russia's already getting missiles from Turkey. Okay. So will Russia gain significant help from other countries to move them forward again in Ukraine? Gosh, I hope not, but let's see. Will Russia get significant help? I've got a mental image of China crossing their arms, like. There are a lot of places they just do not want to get involved in this. It's not worth it for them. I mean, yeah, he's getting Syrian fighters in there, but mercenaries. That's what they do. Oh my gosh, Gary, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, Six of Cups. Other countries are like, they don't want to necessarily burn bridges. If they're with the West. So, sorry. Dropped it. Sorry. KB says, aren't other countries afraid of sanctions if they help Russia? I think that's true. 10 of Pentacles. 6 of Wands. Moon. 10 of Cups. Hermit. They're on their own. Putin thought he had enough. He had enough military. He had enough. This is kleptocracy. Those of you who've been here, for the last 3 weeks, oh, good. Thank you, guys. That I've been pointing out, Russia's a kleptocracy. Their military should be as strong as people were afraid it was. But billions of dollars are being just siphoned out of the government into the pockets of Putin and his cronies. So their military has weakened. So he's still under the delusions that he can just go forward and do whatever, but it's not working out very well. The West is helping, and Ukraine's standing up for themselves, and Russia's isolated. So you did it to yourself. You did ask a good question there. Or 54. Okay. At 54. Okay, this is a quote. Putin is threatening his own people. Okay. We're going to do some, we'll do some domestic stuff next. But right now we've got Putin is threatening his own people who stand up against the war with Ukraine. He said, I am convinced that this natural and necessary self-cleansing of society, will only strengthen our country, our solidarity, cohesion, and readiness to meet any challenge. Wow, congratulations. A whole bunch of words that mean nothing at all. Country, solidarity, cohesion, readiness, meet challenge. Words that mean nothing, really, just. Anyway, so will Putin's thinly veiled threat of a Stalin-esque crackdown against his own people be what the UN needs to step in? Well, the threat of a Stalin-esque crackdown isn't going to get them to step in, but no, not the UN. Mm-mm. Gary, goodness gracious, are you sure? Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Wow. I have too many cards, too. Thank you. So, Putin's Stalin-esque crackdown. Yeah, okay. Prosecutors. You know, they're trying to tack on another 13-year sentence on Zelensky. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's on top of the 15 years they already gave him for embezzling money at his political, like campaign financing violations, embezzlement, that kind of thing. So they're saying 15 years, and now they're tacking on another 13. I don't know. It's garbage, rhubarb, nonsense, horse hockey, bullpucky, moon. Moon, 3 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. I studied a lot about the Bolshevik Revolution and all of that back in the day. It's really ugly. I've read a lot of prison memoirs from people who were political prisoners in Siberia. Man. Chaos. He has to lash out at somebody. Yeah, this is not going to bode well for him. This is oh boy. This is him facing judgment within his own country, actually. People being very, very angry. I realize that the majority of people, more than 50% of people apparently, are like the Fox News watching MAGA people in this country. But they're a majority in Russia, apparently. They're listening to state-run media, and they're buying what they're being sold. But they know a crackdown when they see a crackdown. And their economy is really hurting. Really hurting. Oh, Judith, no worries. Thank you. 8 of Wands, World, and Temperance. Russian people are not, I'm getting the Russian people not having it. Growing dissent, growing protests as the economy collapses. Maybe not even necessarily about Ukraine. So is Putin going to go all Stalin on us here? Oh, Gary Foster, prayers and energy do have value. Absolutely. Do you see the war ending soon? Defines soon. I wish it was going to end tomorrow. Putin's so convinced of his own greatness and victory, and you can almost divide Russia into the TV people and the internet people. I mean, that's a gross gross oversimplification, but the TV people are older and they're buying, they're taking what they're given. The internet people, they better understanding of what else is going on in the world, what else is available in the world, and they're seeing how they can't get the stuff they want, and they can't even get basic foodstuffs at certain points, and it's just bad. So I'm not getting Putin turning into Stalin here. Thank you. We really do not need millions of Russians disappearing. Let's not go there. Are you listening, Putin? Let's not go there. All right, 101. All right, we're going to go domestic here for a while. Let's repeat questions. Excuse me. Flying Without a Broom asked, what does Cy Vance think about the way his old case is being handled? Will he speak out about it or try to intervene at any point? I don't think he would speak out or try to intervene because he wouldn't want anyone to have done that to him. But what does he think about the way his case is being handled? Well, he didn't want to go after Trump either. He was afraid there wouldn't be enough evidence. Thank you, Leah. Thank you. 4 of Swords. Yeah, just letting the whole thing against Trump just legal silence. Oh, man. Death. Ace of Wands. Knight of Wands. Page of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. He doesn't think there's a case against Trump. Not one strong enough to the problem they're running into with the Manhattan DA's case against the Trumps is that there's Weisselberg, who's not flipping. Just absolutely not. And there's the accountant guy who was just beneath him. I can never remember his name, but he's saying if there were things like, perks, not, getting into the right accounting or what have you, that it was his fault. That was just my bad accounting. So because of that, Cy Vance and Coward Bragg are Shy Vance and Coward Bragg have decided that there's not enough to go after Donald Trump because they can't get these two lower people to flip on him. But they've got the paperwork for the bad valuations, all the other stuff that's there. They have the documents that Trump signed, that Ivanka signed, that Junior signed, that show, and Weisselberg he had 2 sets of books going. I'm disappointed, but thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you. So what's going to happen at 105? What's going to happen with how's it looking at the moment for Manhattan DA's case against Trump? Rump. Let's see here. Manhattan. Is it Hollinger? Is that her name? Pamela Bryan says, it's against the law to have two sets of books. I know, right? Black and Orange here and everything associated with it is a part of Book Art Media, LLC. It's a little publishing company I created back in 2013. And I guarantee you, I do not keep two sets of books. Actually, I use Intuit QuickBooks Self-Employed. Very useful. And that's it. All right, Manhattan DA's case against Trump himself. Okay, I'm getting a forward. There is some forward momentum there. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. World. Ooh, what is the at the end of though? What is at the end of? Because it sounds like Letitia James is going ahead full steam. Devil. Corruption. Bullying. I do what I want. Worry. Judgment. I'm getting they want Letitia James to go ahead. Right now, they want to see how she does. And this is fines. I get from Letitia that she may actually be able to dissolve Grift Co., as I call Trump.org, Grift Co. But she can only do civil cases. She can't do criminal. I think they're waiting for her to go ahead to see how it goes and use that to judge what tack to take, what arguments to make, whether to go forward or not. Exactly, Teresa Ford. They're so brave. Not. Pamela Bryant says, okay, it is the general consensus of the chat room at running one set of books is difficult enough. Yes. Yes, it is. Therefore, two sets is just outlandish. Yes. Unless your job is to be a crook. In which case, that is your job. So, let me see if there's any more information about what they're going to do next. Manhattan DA's case against Trump. What you got? Joanne Frank said, my husband had a meeting yesterday with Letitia James. Said she was an amazing person. Oh, how cool is that? Okay, the planning of the grift. Well, the charity was dissolved. Star, there's still hope. Prosecution. There's still hope for prosecution. He has faced some consequences in the past. There is still hope for prosecution over the way the business was planned. Okay, I'll take it. I don't know how great that is. The energy feels good, but running sloth. You mean Navalny? I did mean Navalny. Did I say the wrong name? I'm sorry. Navalny. They gave him 15 years for supposedly embezzling money from his political campaign or something made up. And then I think they're trying to tack on another 13 years on top of it because of nothing they made up, everything they made up. Anyway, all right, 11030. Let's have a look at SB's question. 11030, and don't forget, at the end I will be showing you a little graphic, and I will show you. I created a graphic on why Ted Cruz is such a slimy, rotten. It says in his astrology chart about just what a rotten person he is. Because astrology charts, you can go to the good sides of the signs and the aspects and the planets, or you can go to the negative. And guess which one he goes for. So, Pamela Bryant says they need to search Seven Springs for more archive materials. Linda Johnson says they have to have 3 sets of books. Oh, geez. Alexander, oh, Ted Cruz, how fun. Electra's saying, I've got a question for tomorrow. Will there ever be a united Earth? I like that. Make a note. Ever be a united Earth? All right, so right now we are going at, let's see, 112. Now, this is J.D. Vance. I must be thinking of the wrong person, because the Vance I know of, he wrote the something about being a double agent spy, something. It must be somebody else. But apparently, J.D. Vance is the guy who wrote Hillbilly Elegy. No, I'm just curious. Who wrote Hillbilly Elegy? I'm going to look. Hillbilly Elegy was written by J.D. Vance. Okay, that's his name. So he is, he's trying to be elected to the Senate. He's from Ohio and wrote the book Hillbilly Elegy. He became a Trump supporter when he decided to run. He also said he didn't care what happened to Ukraine. Will he be elected to Senate? Guy who wrote Hillbilly Elegy. Are you going to be Senator Trump supporting Hillbilly Elegy? Jen Glenn is saying, I heard he's doing terribly in the polls. Well, this is a decision who to vote for. So there's that. 8 of Swords, Knight of Cups. He's got lots of money. But it's voters are not too excited. Voters are not terribly excited. There's somebody they are excited about. Someone who has a more liberal bent, I think. He could pretty much just go home and roll around in your vault full of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck, and it looks like they Malcolm Nance is the security expert. Thank you, Gary Foster. I don't know, my poor brain sometimes. Malcolm Nance is awesome. 3 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. He's No, it's not working well. And he's going forward with this stuff, and he's thinking he thinks because he wrote a successful novel that he's better than thou. So there's that. Michelle Sutherland. Hey, Michelle is saying he's now an attorney in Cincinnati. Oh, okay, cool. Bye. Please go away. 116. Jen Glenn had a question here. 116. Can we take a look at Nick Fuentes, his future? He's a far-right extremist. Ew. Attended January 6th. And Republicans are pretending not to know him despite attending AFPAC. I feel like I should be saying that in a duck's voice. Nick Fuentes. Who is this jerk? Hang on. American far-right white nationalist political commentator and live streamer. Ew. Far-right neo-fascist. Ew. Key to white survival. Oh, gross. Oh, you scumbag. All right. Judy's comments. Spell check Kavanaugh. Okay, so at 1:17:30. Ew. Self-proclaimed white supremacist. Ew. You are disgusting. You are a scum. You are a bag of scum. White supremacist. You wish. Jen Glenn is saying AFPAC is basically CPAC, but it's run by him. Oh, jeez. Ew. So, scumbag, what's your future? You're getting 3 cards. You don't deserve more than that. Why is anybody listening to him? Oh, he's disgusting. He's disgusting. Oh, white world. You're disgusting. Look, my father was a carrot top redhead. Look how pale I am. Nobody can say I am not white. So let me speak from as one of the white people in this great big world. There's nothing superior about my race. We are equal. What matters is if you are a nice person, if you are a good person, if you have a good heart, that is what matters. And this guy is a bag of scum. Oh, yeah, he's going to do that far right thing. Oh, aren't you big and tough? Oh, look, I'm a leader, but he feels tiny. Lucky girl. Hey, lucky girl. Judy Barth said J.D. Vance's wife is a law clerk for Justice Thomas and Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Ew. Ew. He thinks he's all that. He's going to stand up. He's going to fight, but these cards feel, even though that's Major Arcana, these cards feel really tiny. All right. Yeah, go away. Exactly, KD. KD Moonchild's world. There is one race, the human one. Yep. Yes, indeed. All right, 1:20:30. Shenzen, which of course makes me think of Star Trek Nemesis, which was Shinzon. But anyway, Shenzhen, China, is facing a massive COVID spike. Okay, but it's forcing some of the strictest lockdown protocols to date. Now, unfortunately, this is the electronics hub of China that is responsible for producing everything from some of the world's most popular brands of e-cigarettes to Apple products. How will this affect the rest of the world? Shenzhen. Shenzhen, China. So that's not going to help the world economy, that's for certain. Weezy Squeezebox says, white people make vitamin D faster when exposed to sunlight. We also wrinkle more. That's it. Yeah. Yep. 3 of Cups. Nine of Cups, Tower, Strength. There's strengths and weaknesses all over the world. It's that simple. And having medical care, vaccines is a good thing. And the more of those you have, the better off you are. Is this going to be bad? Is the world economy going to be bad? Yes. Is the world economy going to be good? Yes. It's here and weak, strong, weak, strong. The only mental image I can, the best I could do for an analogy, which is not great, but is every 10,000 years or so, I believe, is it 10,000? Something like that. The magnetic poles on the Earth shift, positive, negative. And they know this because they've looked at volcanic stone and the way the filings move and are frozen. And basically, what's happening right now, the reason you get some weirdness here and there, and if there was anything with the Bermuda Triangle, it was probably this, that the magnetic poles are starting to shift again. But what they don't just, it's not just like they're here and then they're there. What happens is they start shifting, they start weakening. You get pockets of more, less magnetic, and eventually then it like loosens and shifts. That's what I'm getting for the economy. It's pockets of bad, good, strong. We're just moving. We have to recover. Think of this shifting, uncovering. So it's stronger here, it's weaker there, on, back and forth, and here and there, and changing constantly, and we'll move on. That's what I'm getting. So is it bad? Yes. Is it good in other places? Yes. Is it going to be good there in future? Yes. Is it going to be bad in other places? Yes. That's what I'm getting. So I don't know if that helps, but that's what I'm getting. All right, I'm going to do 2 things really quickly. The first one is I'm going to answer this other extra question, and then I'm going to show you the Ted Cruz graphic. So at 125, let's just throw a few cards on. Will there ever be a united Earth? Like you get in sci-fi. Well, that's the negative thing about being having really white skin is veins showing through. That's an issue. And I get tired enough. I get really, really tired. This whole area between my shoulders looks like a road map of the US in blue. So will we ever have a united Earth? Like we should. Because we should be united. We should be working together. We should be helping each other. A rising tide raises all boats. Kindness matters. Caring matters. Will we ever have a united Earth? Yeah. Oh, stop growling. When we lay down our swords against each other, lay down the swords we use against each other. Knight of Swords, Two of Wands, Ace of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. Basically, yes, it's going to be a long time. But it has to do with, I mean, if you think back, I mean, heck, just think back, just look at Europe, where because the population was so low, and there were these little feudal kingdoms, and they were separated enough over a long enough period of time. Compare, someone who was raised here in America with basically one language and 4 time zones just on the continental US, going to somewhere the size of Western Europe, and you go this far and they're speaking another language, and then you go this far and they're speaking a different language, and there are different countries and places that wouldn't even, that are smaller than, they're like Chicago sized, only it's a country. I mean, it's this kind of stuff where it's like, but we fought against each other, the human race. We fought against each other when we were in these little feudal areas, and we had different languages, and we had all this different stuff. And over time, now Europe's kind of banded together. NATO's kind of working together, and we're fighting against a bigger force, or at least saying we'll stick together against a bigger force. So the fighting, it gets the big bad, our good side versus the big bad, they get bigger when there's a big enough off-world something. That's when we will have a one Earth government, a one Earth, united Earth kind of situation. And it isn't necessarily even, a threat from out there. It's when people are colonizing other planets. They're going out into so eventually, yes, it's a matter of time, really, because that's just kind of the way it goes. All right, let me share with you this. So there are good and let's see, at 1:30. Let's finish with this. I made this last night. I'm starting a blog, but I'll just show you the graphic. Ted Cruz graphic for right now. Well, I like the sound of a united Earth too. I like that too. All right. So I realize that, with all of these, all this political stuff I do, that I I've gone over so much ground, and I know I have more information, but I'd like to have like a repository of research I've done, information I've done, so that I can, so I can pull things up quickly. So I was thinking I'll have a blog, and rather than write out big long posts, I thought I would just try to limit some basic things to just like a graphic, and then just put basically the text in the blog post as the blog post, but having a graphic. So I thought I would start with Ted Cruz. Now, I started with Ted Cruz, and then I started one for Marjorie Trader Green, and I realized that I really am dealing with the negative sides of the zodiac, because there are good things about Libra. There are really good things about Libra. There are really good things about Capricorn. It's just, you can do the good side of sign, the bad sides, and these people are just consistently choosing the worst sides of what they can be the worst you can be. So let me share screen. Yes, my own archive, I guess. Window. There we go. All right, so I just opened this here so you can see it. Okay. Do I need to get rid of I need to get rid of the overlay here for a second. So this is what I created. Ted Cruz, and I'm just going to read this. This is Ted Cruz's natal chart. Status seeking and spineless. It's really what it comes down to. Ted Cruz's double whammy, Libra moon and ascendant. So the AC, where it says AC over there, you can see lower, like with the black, that refer to the black lines, the kind of green lines, the blue-green lines, and the red lines, but the top is its own thing. He's got a Libra moon and a Libra ascendant, and it's why he can be buddies with the man who called his father a murderer and insulted his wife's looks. Libra sees both sides, sometimes to their own detriment, and the detriment of the people they're supposed to be loyal to. Even worse, Uranus is in the same area as his moon. It's that H-looking thing with the circle beneath it, right? Kind of where the red dot is at like 9 o'clock. That's AC is the ascendant. The H thing with the circle at the bottom, that's Uranus, and then you've got the moon symbol. Uranus is in the same area as his moon and adds an unnecessary, I do what I want, rebellious quality to Libra's indecision. So the negative side of Libra is being really indecisive, and you end up being wishy-washy because you can see both sides. But that can be a real benefit if you're using your power for good, if you're using your Libra power for good, if you're using your Uranus power for good, this is good. But it's Ted Cruz. So if you look at the black T-square there, T-square number 1, it's Chiron at like 3 o'clock, Pluto at like 9 o'clock, and then the sun is at like 6 o'clock. So his status-seeking Capricorn self, which is the sun, is an outlet for the constant tension between his focus on power, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So it's a wound that Chiron became a healer because he had a wound that would not heal, so he understood pain. So it is this part of us where there is a wound that will not heal. Now, if we use that as to build empathy, we use that as impetus to push us forward, to help others, great. But if you're using it, I want power, but I'm wounded. I want power, I'm wounded, so I want power. And then all that energy back and forth is funneling out through your sense of self, how you, like, here I am. the feeling there's something sickly or wrong about his nature, that he's power hungry, but there's something not right. It's that Chiron, because he's not using that Chiron. It's linked right across over to the power, Chiron, wound, power, wound, power, wound, power, going down into a sense of self. The good news is that that wound, power, there is in a positive way, Neptune is funneling off some of that energy too, so it isn't as bad, but it funnels some of that energy off into Neptune, which can be fantasy, glamour, a glamour like in the way that a spell would be a glamour that makes you look better than you are, which may help explain why he keeps getting reelected. Because that's a lot of energy to be going into your glamour, and it's in the third house of communications. So when he communicates to people who are into the whole power above all else, he's got quite the glamour thrown on communications. In red, the red T-shaped thing, you've got Eris, who is she's a warrior. The closest superhero to Eris would be Wonder Woman. So there's Eris at like 3 o'clock, near 3 o'clock. There's Uranus over by 9 o'clock, and there's Mercury, which is down at about 5:30. So his communication, Mercury, is the outlet for this constant tension between his inner rebellious Uranus and this very female-centric warrior, rebellious warrior. They're not great bedfellows. I mean, you know, this isn't exactly accurate, but I kind of think of it like Wonder Woman, when she was working with others, she'd work with like Superman. She didn't work with the Riddler, the Joker, or somebody who was good, sometimes bad, like Loki. That's it. Like you wouldn't see Wonder Woman working with Loki. And I know one's from DC, one's from Marvel, but you just wouldn't see that. So it's what are you doing? And then of course that Mercury in communication is down in Capricorn as well, so you get more status seeking. So anyway, I just thought I would create. Electrostorm says she worked with Batman too. Yeah, but Batman's good. You know, Wonder Woman didn't work with anarchists. But anyway, so and they're opposite. That's why they're not working together. There's tension between the two, and that's so there. Anyway, so this is what I'm thinking about doing, just creating these simple graphics for a lot of the people that I read on. So I've got also this to look back at, and I can think of this as, oh yeah, really it's the first sentence: status seeking and spineless. That's Ted Cruz. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, and I'll just work my way through that, and I will get the blog up and running, so they'll be there and accessible. The blog will be on the website I'm working on right now, so hopefully that will be out soon. I'll let you know, but everything I do runs through Book Art Media, so it'll be on the Book Art Media website, but it's not there right now. Matter of fact, I'm completely changing. I haven't changed the URL over to the new site, but that's going to happen very soon. So anyway, all right, that's going to do it for me for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It is 1:59 p.m. here in Chicago. In 2 hours, I will be over on Book Art Media, the Book Art Media YouTube channel, to do creative sprints. Shockwave would like me to do one for Abbott. Absolutely. I will be over there in 2 hours to do creative sprints. You're always welcome. Other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow because you can't get rid of me. All right. So take care. Remember, there are good days ahead. You're not alone. And we're going to get through this. Okay. All right. Hang in there, everybody. All right. And I'll talk to you later, or I will definitely see you tomorrow.